Time me like Aravia been thinking no come out this was something and me no easy. Me can talk long March 15, 1987. Me play out street. Passing ground now offering ground no God. That's the foundation of me play. Because when God been creating ground, no you may man no enjoy him, but disobedience been come up, you may live the disobedience now. Now you may come to Aravia blogging, but you may look stop yourself, or something, you may give him back no God, by God you will take lead no more get something. Now you know not looking but you will look him. His message is the king, he will take lead no more get something. So you will get that, thank you Thomas. Well, we can talk. Now me play talk system and you also. Me plan, he giving back God on ground by God, he honor all something, you know me, but you look out to us. And that was the ground. But disobedience may come up, you know me, they tell me must rouse him, this person will say, me papa on ground. And me man, we must rouse him. Now offering can no God, by God, he will lead him to me, so you can enjoy him. Presence blowing on top of ground, you know me, you will start by. So thank you to Master you come in and put talk, but we can talk Aravia, always something through his majesty, nature connecting me. Now you can look him now. We play no same but through nature or to now you me, God you walk speak no you me but you by walk find him way here. But today you look him. So we can talk Master you now speak from me. Please, and you talk system, you talk wrong, you renew more than something. Because judgment, and start finished for hand when you are in it. Suppose his message declare more than something, judgment start for you and me. When you get scared in this now enjoy him now, person no long, and something like that. But I know this now, thank you for all
East Paradise, governors of refugees from West Paradise, governors of refugees from Solomon Islands. Heads of Crown Government, Chief Governor, Prime Minister Papara, local Universal Government, District Governor, Chief Administrator, Finance Minister, Chief Prime Minister, Representative of Mekamo National Government, Representative from ABG, President Maturama, delegates, President Mandarin, and the delegation, Ministers of the Crown, Mekamo, Governor of Central Bank, Deputy Governor, Members of the Crown, special welcome to our Aravia High Chief Delegation, representing Aravia, Customer Central Bank, and Community Bank, who arrived here yesterday from Emperor Range, including ceremony today. Aravia Chief Governor, Puka, Lord Bougainville, Prophet Evan Samuel, Nicole, Priest David Kupasu, Commanders and Soldiers of the Crown, Papala U.S. State Workforce, Council Treasury Government, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all, my people of Bougainville, Mekamoy, up here to the closing ceremony of our 40 days and 40 nights celebrations. Today we will also be lowering the twin flags of up here and US flag, which were raised 40 days ago on 8th of Jasper. More importantly, today we will not only 40 Days, 40 Nights program, but we will also be opening the floodgates of our long-awaited universal payouts. For those of you who are new to our 40 Days, 40 Nights annual program, let me just quickly run through the events of what actually happened in 2008. The people of this island gathered here and proclaimed the sovereign nation of Apia and the sovereign US system, commonly referred to as sovereign hardware and sovereign software, or sovereign nation and sovereign system. Pastor Andrew Menon and other generals were appointed to coordinate the program from beginning to ending. It was indeed a great and memorable day for everyone, including our international visitors present on the day. On 8th of July, we opened the ceremony by raising the twin flags, and on the 16th of August, we closed it off by lowering our twin flags. I did not plan the event to be exactly 40 days and 40 nights, and I'm not sure whether or not Pastor Menon did mean it to be exactly 40 days and 40 nights. The only thing I know is that the following year, 2009, when we came to celebrate the event again, I realized it to be exactly 40 days and 40 nights. As explained many times before, everyone who attended the closing or flag lowering ceremony was dumbfounded and enthralled by the miraculous happenings of the day. Immediately after I delivered my speech, and while the Upeii custodians from ITA and Province were lowering the flags, there was something concurrently taking place up in the clouds. The law of nature was affected by our declaration of sovereignty. We literally saw an invisible hand drawing the map of Apia, Nakamui, Papara, pictures and videos of it. International visitors present during the occasion just could not believe their eyes because they had never seen such a thing happen in their countries. I have said this many times. Most people still do not know yet the original reasons why I established the U.S. system in 1998. As stated many times before, the Bougainville crisis or revolution ended up in a military coup in October 1996, when the senior BRA leaders wrestled power from French honor in favor of Joseph Kabul. The leadership was therefore split, and the nation was plunged into two governments. I was then approached by our chiefs of Pengure to document the 10-step mediation program and present it to the leaders concerned. I typed everything on my computers as requested and went along with them to make presentation to the Papua New Guinea government and Bougainville interim governments. Since we were then in Port Moresby, we saw that it was best to approach the Prime Minister of PNG first. This we did, and our first approval came from then Prime Minister of PNG, Honorable Bill Skate, and with that document and approval from the PNG government, we then approached Bougainville Vice President Joseph Kabul on 17/11/97 and got his approval letter also. Then finally we approached the overall President and Supreme Commander for His Honor on the 19th of 12/1997 and got his approval letter. After getting approvals and mandates from all the government leaders, my chief said to me, "You know that everything in the world is moved by money. Nothing can happen without money. As chiefs, we have all the necessary concepts and ideas of mediation, reconciliation, peacemaking, etc. But we don't have any money whatsoever to finance it. In our culture, when two great chiefs are fighting and killing each other, only an equally powerful high chief can mediate and make peace between them. No ordinary guy can do it. It's the same with us. We have two or three powerful governments fighting each other, and on one hand we have the PNG government, and on the other hand we have Bougainville government. Both have their own powerful military forces backing them up. We can't bring them together when they are looking down on us. The only way is to upgrade ourselves to the level of a recognized government or nation just like them. Only then can we truly call the shots and bring the governments together according to the program. Then on the 8th of February 1998, President French Honor warned and restrained us from getting any money or military assistance from BCL, government of PNG, government of Australia, government of Nigeria, USA, World Bank, IMF, China, international NGOs, and so on. He said, if I see you getting funds from any of these companies or governments, I will automatically wash my hands and won't support your mediation program again. These two main reasons finally forced me to register and finance or convince the powerful US tax system we know today. The rest is history. In a matter of 2 decades, I have upgraded myself from nothing to something, or from nobody to somebody, or from a simple street beggar to become a strong, a very powerful monarch, king, and emperor. As you all know, I now have my own sovereign monetary system, banking system, currency system, financial system, economic system, trade and commercial system, political and governing system, global empire, and so on. In other words, now that my funds are ready and flowing, I can now call the shots and bring both countries together to follow the 10-step mediation program their leaders agreed upon more than 2 decades ago. The 10 steps they approved were: step 1, Mungo in Toplesiwa, meaning shut up, passive mouth name. According to the original plan, this step will take us about 5 weeks to complete. We will first be depositing a certain amount of funds into the respective government or corporate accounts to shut them out and begin the program. Funds will be deposited into the 3 major governments, which are government of PNG, ABG, and Mekong government. There will be massive awareness conducted during the program. Media releases, publications, and distribution of payment chiefs' involvement, etc., etc. Our chiefs, coordinators, seminar and workshop speakers, etc., will be traveling on our choppers, planes, charters, etc., conducting awareness everywhere, both locally and internationally. As you can see, it's a very important step requiring millions of money to complete. Step 2 is called Kokowa and Toplesiwa, meaning do not enter my premises. This step was originally planned to take up to 4 weeks. During this step, both governments will distance from each other. PNG government, Autonomous Bukit government, and Mekong government will be told to stay put wherever they are and not travel around unnecessarily to other people's premises or locations of another government or areas. Only the approved chiefs, coordinators, seminar and workshop conductors, etc., will be traveling to choppers, planes, boats, etc., according to the program. As you can see, it will also cost many millions of kina to complete this step. And you know that US Tract has more than enough money to cater for it. Step 3, called Ari in Toplesiwa, meaning respect for the foreign. According to the original plan, this step will take about 3 weeks only. Again, during this step, only appointed chiefs will be traveling around the choppers, planes, etc., to conduct program, course publications, printings, media coverage, leaflets, distributions, etc., which will cost many millions of kina, but again, it's not an issue anymore to us. Step 4, called Tombo in Toplesiwa. It means I had enough of being hunted. This step will also take about 3 or more weeks according to the original plan. Our chiefs, coordinators, mediators, seminar and workshop participants, etc., will be traveling again on choppers, planes, boats, etc., and will be making presentations in PNG, Bougainville, Solomon Islands, and other countries affected by the Bougainville crisis. Australia, New Zealand, Solomon Islands, Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, West Papua, Europe, America, etc., etc. Again, cost of travel, publications, distribution and media, etc., will definitely be in the hundreds of millions of kina, which you now know is nothing because US Tract has more than enough money to take care of everything. Step 5. Step 5 is called Ukara in Siwai, also means adoption. He is mine, don't kill him or hurt him. In this step, our chiefs, or governors, ambassadors, coordinators, media personnel, seminar and workshop organizers, conductors, etc., will again be traveling on vehicles, jeeps, choppers, planes, etc., conducting the mediation. According to the original program, this step will take about 5 or more weeks to complete and will surely cost hundreds of millions of kina again. But again, US Tract will be paying for all these things from its abundance. Step 6, called Murato or Koriho. It means lay down your arms. According to the original plan, this step will take about 3 weeks only. Again, our chiefs, seminar and workshop conductors, media personnel, coordinators, etc. will be traveling on our fleets of vehicles, planes, choppers, speedboats, etc., conducting the program for the full 3 weeks or more. The cost will also be up in hundreds of millions, but the UPEI has all is available. Step 7, Puriha. It is a Puriha in Topesiwa, meaning feasting and shaking of hands. This step was designed to take another 4 weeks or more. Our chiefs, elders, coordinators, media personnel, seminar workshop conductors, etc., will again be traveling on our fleets of vehicles, planes, choppers, boats, etc., within the 4 weeks, organizing the feasts in the respective countries, government locations, etc. The cost of publications, printing, media, etc., transport, payment of funds to each of the countries and governments will again be in the many hundreds of millions of kina, which is peanuts to UPEI. Step 8 is called Huke in Topesiwa, which means the debtor pays his debts. According to the original plan, this step will take about 8 weeks or 2 months or so. Again, cost of pigs, cows, chickens, transport, publications, leaflets, printing, distribution, media, conducting of workshops, seminars, meeting in various locations will surely cost many millions of kina, which is again not an issue anymore to UPEI. During this step, UPEI will assist the respective governments with extra funds to pay for the debts, compensations for damages, etc., to each other according to the understanding and agreements reached during the 7th step of discussions or shaking of hands. Step 9, called Aravia meaning last and final feast. This step was designed to take about 4 weeks or more. After all the steps are completed, UPEI King Emperor will organize a last and final feast for the participating countries, PNG, Bougainville, SI, Fiji, Vanuatu of Australia, New Zealand, and all the other countries both under rank and UPEI, rank and UN. It's a time of gladness and joy because all the problems, debts, obligations, etc. has been resolved or paid and received already in the previous steps from steps 1 to 8. Again, it will surely cost about many hundreds of millions of kina, but it's again nothing to UPEI. This is what we've been preparing for all this time. Step 10, the last and final step, called Tunakoto or Rumainaina in Topesiwa, meaning payment to the rescuer. This step completes the final step in UPEI's involvement as a mediator. It was originally estimated to take up to 2 weeks only, although as a final step, there's really no time frame for it, as it's all to do with future prospects and happiness of everyone participating countries, nations, governments, continents, etc. The step includes a concept called Rumainaina, which stands for reward or payment to the rescuer. During this step, payment chiefs will mediate for itself a reward as a settlement from both sides for rescuing them from harm and destruction. This is an important concept in the resolution of any conflict. Again, cost for payment of travel, publications, leverage, publication of distribution, media, choppers, planes, workshops, etc. will surely cost many hundreds of millions of kina, but it's nothing again for UPEI. The reward that UPEI will be negotiating for has no monetary value for it. It's just a simple reward of respect and honor naturally expected when someone rescues another person from harm. All the Pembrose chiefs and the King Emperor desire is that everyone will live in total peace and harmony with abundance, life and life in all its fullness. I have already appointed certain people like Pastor Andrew Mandel and most of the governors, ministers of the Crown and others, including our chiefs, to take an active part in this 10-step mediation program. Summary. I won't take up too much of your time today. My speech will be very short and brief. Let me just quickly outline some facts on our present financial situation. Firstly, you all know that most of you are multi-billionaires. Most of you have several tens or to hundreds of millions of kina in your bank accounts, IBOM or community bank. That is a sure fact, and nothing whatsoever can change it. Your records speak for itself. Secondly, you all know that most of you, if not all, are graduates. You already qualified and graduated as multimillionaires during the 10 months of multimillionaire graduation ceremonies conducted between June 30, 2020 and April 15, 2021. Your records are in the system. Proper ID cards for MMG graduates are in the process of printing. In other words, whether you are graduated in person or in absentia, you have already qualified to receive your abundant funds. Thirdly, you all know that most of you, if not all, can truly testify of abiding by the King's Code of Ethics. Therefore, you already know that there's nothing that can block you from accessing your funds in the bank. Fourthly, you all know that the funds I've given to you is too much. You won't be able to finish it in your lifetime. Therefore, I sincerely ask you to look after yourselves. Do not do what I don't do. Do not let your flood of abundant funds carry you away or dump you down at the sea. If you use your monies within the guidance of my code of ethics, you will certainly live very long lives, even forever. Number six, lately, in the last few weeks, I have received so many calls from my international network of clients, investors, governments, countries, companies, corporations. They've been asking me to simply sign approval letters or documents so they can send me millions or billions of dollars. Every single day and night, they've been sending me messages, texts, emails, WhatsApp, Skypes, telegrams, etc., enticing where I can do up to 5 trades per day and let daily payouts, etc., into my accounts. Some are multinational corporations that want to invest in Bougainville in agriculture, plantations, mining, rice, paddy fields, timber, coconut, cocoa, etc. They say that if I approve the projects, they can deposit big funds into my accounts immediately. However, I keep telling them that I'm dealing with unborrowed currency. What you're offering me is borrowed currency. If you send me several million or billions today, I will run out of it anytime and come back to you again for more. But if I send you funds and you run out of money tomorrow, you will request me again and I will send you more money. And I'm happy to keep sending you more money. You see, that's how the international financial system works. The borrower is a slave to the lender. Therefore, I don't want your funds. Rather, I want to send you funds and get you out of your borrowed currency system. I'm just explaining this so you can see that if I was with the government of PNG or ABG, which deals with borrowed currencies, I would have just accepted those huge millions or billions they've been offering me to this day. And I would keep borrowing more money and remain indebted to them forever. We are so fortunate that UESTRAC is now in place and operational. As soon as I give the green light, you will begin using your unborrowed currency or funds normally, just like you've been using your borrowed currency funds all this time, knowingly or unknowingly. On the ground, there's not much difference between unborrowed and borrowed currency funds. They look the same and they trade the same. The only difference is in the world reserve currency they are derived from. All the borrowed funds, currencies of the present world, at least since 1944, have been borrowed from the so-called US dollar. Before World War II, the world reserve currency was the British pound. And before World War I, the German mark was the world reserve currency. In our sovereign system, our world reserve currency is the UE gold. All our currencies are issued from UE gold or UBG. Again, I'm just explaining this so you can understand why it has taken us such a long time to set up everything. Number 7, as of today, Monday 16th fire, I am activating or triggering off the release of a long-awaited unborrowed currencies. You all know that your funds have been sitting in your Fed bank accounts for many years. I have over the last few years launched or declared or opened payouts, but there have been some delays, as you all know. The delays have been due to the fact that the trade programs launched on 26 May 2021 have not fully been activated. Therefore, there were little delays in the activation process. However, today, as a decree and trigger of everything, you can be rest assured that your unborrowed funds will now be able to trade, buy or sell without any more delay whatsoever, because I have now worked out things. It's so nice that we have followed this difficult process here too. If I had borrowed funds from some governments or countries, I wouldn't have worked out the final details as I have done now, because my mind would have been blinded, clouded, or closed by the borrowed currency system. The only main reason why we can now enjoy these big unborrowed funds is because we have never surrendered. We stood firm all the way to the end, despite all the pains and agonies, name callings, oppositions, mockeries, ridicules, etc., etc. Thank you for standing tall with me. Thank you for all the support you have given. Thank you for all and everything, including things like contributions and patience, donations, tithes, offerings, etc. you have been giving over the years with full faith and patience. You are the ones whose faith and patience has made the system work. I can't do it myself. It's you that I must thank you for helping me whenever I needed your help. Now, 4 revolutions. For some time now, I have been talking about the 4 major revolutions that Bougainville has gone through since 1970s. The first was a political revolution, launched in 1975 by Bougainville politicians in the likes of John Mombis, Leo Handet, and Dr. Al-Hisari, etc. I was then in Standard 4 here at Tonu Primary School. During the revolution, my people of Tonu were scared from about PNG sending its army to Bougainville. Therefore, they formed a government known as Tomoraro and called Serpo Rapun to quickly talk to the Prime Minister of PNG, Michael Somare, not to send the fund, not to send the troops. Serpo Rapun conveyed the message to Somare, telling him that there was a group here that did not want to be independent, and therefore asking you not to send the troops to Bougainville. Later, the provincial government of North Sermons arrested my chiefs, Tonu chiefs, and anyone from 18 years up, and sent them to serve at Kuria prison in the north of Bougainville. I'm just sharing this because the whole thing was motivated by fear of the PNG military coming and killing innocent people. The people of Tonu and Tomoraro wanted independence without losing lives. They wanted the Pohirora World Bank to finance Bougainville and PNG and other nations without shedding blood unnecessarily. That was their main concern during the first Bougainville Revolution. Just as expected, the second revolution, Bougainville Revolution, was a military revolution of 1990s led by King Francis Ona and the BRA. This particular revolution finally made Bougainvilleans realize the collective power in standing against a well-trained and well-equipped army of PNG. The fear of PNGTF is no longer a problem. Our people no longer fear the PNG army, and even locally within the island, everyone is free to move around now without fearing anyone, whether PNG, BRA or BRF, because the military revolution finally put everything to rest. The PNGTF will never return to Bougainville again. Likewise, the BRA is no longer killing anyone. Likewise, the BRF is no longer killing anyone. The time for war is over. The time for killings is over. Time for bloodshed is over. It's now time for another revolution. And however, despite winning the war, the Bougainvilleans still had to surrender to PNG. They voluntarily surrendered to government of PNG for money and services. None of them had any idea as to how Bougainville can create its own financial system and finance itself. They therefore just had to voluntarily surrender to PNG and foreign control, IMF debt financing system, etc. According to KPMG, Bougainville's foreign debt to the IMF debt financial system reached 9.7 billion Kina mark by 2011. Our people surrendering to the government of PNG and foreign control necessitated a breakthrough in the financial system. God had to choose someone again from within us to lead a third revolution. That's how Bougainville has experienced a third revolution called Financial Revolution in the early 2000s. This third revolution, as you all know, is being led by U.S. in conjunction with Mekamui, Papara, etc. All of us. You see, just as the second revolution was necessitated by the first revolution, so the third revolution has also been necessitated by the second revolution. As explained above, the military revolution came about because of real fear of our people. They feared in 1970s, they feared that PNG military would come and kill them if they want to become independent. That fear finally evaporated when our military revolution in the 1990s matched, equalized, and replaced the PNG army with our own army. The PNG army will never return to Bougainville again. Therefore, we can now establish our own sovereign financial system and punish ourselves. Within the mysteries of God, one half of Bougainville surrendered to PNG and was using its money and providing services, while the other half was busy establishing Bougainville's new sovereign financial system in the 2000s. And I'm so happy that I have led a good fight and have just completed the setup and now able to conduct payouts, including funding of our government services, development, infrastructure, etc. The only fear I have now is that the abundance of money I'm giving our people might destroy them if they don't follow my code of ethics. However, I'm glad to say I also declared a fourth revolution on the 16th of August 2008, which we are celebrating today. The fourth revolution is known as sovereignty revolution. It's also known as civilization. In other words, to really make things work for our people, we need to finance our own civilization. If we remain under the other Western civilization, it would not be possible to stop people from getting drunk, etc., against the code of ethics, and so on. No country under the Western civilization has been able to eradicate beer, alcohol, drugs, marijuana, etc., etc. You all know that beer and alcohol was brought to Bougainville by our colonizers in 1963. It was never part of our culture or civilization, but today it has become part and parcel of every home, destroying the lives of thousands of people, families, young people, etc. But with our own civilization coming up that does not support beer or alcohol in its economic equation, you can be rest assured that beer or alcohol or homebrew, etc. won't be a problem anymore. Our new sovereign economy does not allow for it. Therefore, it will die its natural death while we move on with our own sovereignty and civilization. Together with our own sovereignty and civilization, we can expect everyone to be truly united as one people, one country, one nation, one system, etc. You can also be rest assured that all the foreign religions and churches that continue to fight against each other on our sovereign land will find a way to unite and serve each other. Without our own sovereignty and civilization, it's just not possible for all foreign religions and churches in Bougainville to consider uniting as one. They will continue to fight each other, as we've seen happening over the years throughout PNG, Bougainville, Malaysia, Pacific, and the world. In other words, as our sovereign monetary system is released, we will begin to see new and powerful preachers rising from our midst, sharing the gospel from another angle that had never been seen before. They will just walk and miracles will follow them. They won't even need to lay hands as miracles will just happen automatically because their lives will be full of power and anointing. That's what I expect to see happening in the new civilization. This new civilization is so necessary not only for Bougainville but also for the whole world. Most of you who are multi-millionaires, billionaires will be going out to other countries to help the poor and bring them up to our level of prosperity. You will be funding big projects and programs all over the world. I can already see how the world will be transformed upside down and downside up when you use your multi-millions and billions for the right purposes. Those are the four revolutions Bougainville has gone through, and I'm glad to be the one leading the last two revolutions, financial and civilization. Conclusion. I think I have taken too much of your time already. Let me therefore now let's conclude my speech with the following points. One, as of today, Mandate 16 Sapphire, I am not only activating but triggering off our long-awaited universal payouts. The funds have been here in your bank accounts for many years, awaiting the time I will give you the signal to use it. And today, I'm giving you the signal and the green light. Your funds are now fully active, transactable, compatible, and transferable. Tomorrow is rest day, so from light day onwards, you will be given fine details by our bankers and government as to how exactly you will be withdrawing your funds. We will start small and increase slowly during the week and keep increasing until you are able to withdraw and transfer much bigger funds in the millions or billions. Two, I have been given names of about 12 couples who want to be wedded or married. They are all in the C system and reside here in King Square. They will go through a major counseling session for the next few weeks, and we hope to marry already or bless their marriages within 1 month from now. This is because the parents are not residing with us and must be contacted to give their final approval before their children can be wedded or by our pastors or ministers of the gospel. The King's Code of Ethics is an important guideline for all marriages in the kingdom and system. Therefore, counseling is very important prior to the actual wedding. In this way, we can protect ourselves at all times. According to King Solomon, a person without self-discipline is like a city without walls. In other words, my code of ethics will enable you to be self-disciplined and to protect yourself from any harm that might come your way. Three, our 4 internal trade programs are now fully active, alive and available. Anyone who participates in them can get their payments in foreign currency. For example, our gold trade program now accepts any quantities from 100 grams and up. And even small amounts of 50 grams are acceptable for trade. We will pay you in foreign currency or PNG Kenya. Therefore, pass the word around and involve as many people as possible to participate and get funds from the system in foreign currency PNG. 4, I have to conclude now. As time has already caught up with me, I thank you all for attending this very important closing ceremony. With these few words, I now fully activate and trigger off our universal payout. Now, tomorrow is rest day, so we won't be doing anything, but from light day onwards, I can assure you that life here in Tondu King Square will not be the same again. Everything you expected over the years will begin to be released. Even those from PNG and West Papua will begin to leave us and return to the respective provinces with all the funds in their hand. They too must go and help their people, their families, their provinces and countries. Thank you everyone again. Thank you Aravia for making me your king today. I'm very happy. For the first time, I'm in my new suits, and thank you, Aravia, for making it happen. If you are not here, I wouldn't be standing this way. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, thank you for crossing the finishing line with me. Bless you.